let's watch this. Sound is good, right?
Of chess fights. Have you guys seen the Hikaru Eric?
That is my favorite video on the internet.
That would be the
Kung
chess
Fu.
boxing fight. That would be the most entertaining to watch.
It was pretty entertaining. Yeah.
Make
That
it
is
happen.
my
You-
favorite
you
piece
were
of
there,
chess
right?
content.
Yeah, it was like a chess party. I forget which tournament it was. Maybe it was like a U.S. championship.
U.S. championship,
and
yeah.
They were playing Blitz. I wasn't paying attention to Blitz. I was in another part of the room, but they were arguing about something to do with the Blitz. It was
Actually, before we get in this, by the way, this is like actually a question. What is Fabiano's jacket? I'm a little confused. Why does this have like black and then white and red? Before I get into it, sorry, this is just very distracting to me. What is this? What is this jacket? I'm actually just confused. Because like, isn't it completely black on one side? Like, it's completely black on this side, but it's like not black on this side. No, I'm just confused because one side is different than the other side. Oh, it's like a Tommy. Is it some USA jacket? Okay, it just looks weird that it's not the same on both sides. But anyway, let's keep going. Sorry, I that immediately jumps out at me. I'm just like losing my mind over that. Sorry. Okay, let's keep going.
I don't know what the argument was. They were both absolutely trashed, I'm sure. And they just took it to the yard, and then they didn't do anything. They just stood there.
The best part is Yasser is just going on and on about this ring. Like, doesn't even pay attention to the fight.
Yeah.
His commentary
Have you
is so
seen
funny.
a lot of?
Well, you know what's even better about this? I don't even think it's about the ring. I think I also gave Yasser some cash. I think I had cash in my I had like cash in my pocket too, I think, or something. It wasn't just the ring. So that's actually what makes it even better. I think I actually gave Yasser like $200. I think I had some cash. Was it 1K? No, I had some cash in my pocket. I mean, of course, like, we were both trash, so nobody really remembers it. It was 1K. Oh, it wasn't even $200. Okay, it was actually 1,000. Why the heck did I have $1,000? Oh, I did. Oh, now I remember. Yeah, I had $1,000 in cash because I don't know if I was gonna go to the casino or I'd gone to the casino, but I had gotten some cash out of the ATM. Yeah, that's why. Okay, that's why. Yeah. Okay, now it makes sense. That's why. All right, let's keep going at any rate.
top players getting into physical fights at tournaments?
You
I've
gamble?
only seen one
Okay, you
other
guys
one.
relax.
Can you tell us?
Yeah, I can. I might as well do. I hope Hikaru doesn't mind.
Oh, it's gonna be
Hikaru-
Simon, right? Of
Hikaru's
course.
not a sensitive guy. It'll be fine.
Yeah, he doesn't
No,
care.
I'll preface it by saying Hikaru won the tournament. It was at the Gibraltar tournament, Gibraltar
Yes.
2017, and he had just won the tournament, and it was like a huge prize fund, like 50 grand. He won.
Wait, no. Fabiano's wrong, I think, on that, actually. I think it was 2018. I don't think it was 17. It was, I'm pretty sure it was 2018. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter.
Celebrating, and he had a lot of drinks. And I was playing Blitz against Simon Williams, and it was like time on splits, like 1 minute against 5 minutes, something like that. And we were just playing for fun. I don't think any money was on the line. But Hikaru comes in, and
Wait a second. Why do I feel like my memory is better than Fabiano's? There was definitely money on the line when they played. When they played the game, there was definitely money on the line. They were not playing for no money. There was money on the line. It wasn't much, but there was money on the line when they played. There was definitely money on the line.
and he's watching, and he starts trash talking Simon, like very aggressively trash talking him, saying like, "How are you playing like this? Like, how are you losing 5 minutes against one?"
That's
And
really funny.
at some point, Simon says something back, and they get into it. I don't remember the details. I was also a little bit tipsy, but not super drunk. And then they started. Hikaru was like, "Yeah, I'll play you 5 against 1, any amount, 10 grand, 20 grand."
Oh my god.
And then they were like, they were starting to arrange chess boxing. Like they were actually, Hikaru was like, chess boxing, $1 million 6 months from now.
This I don't remember.
And then eventually they take it outside the hotel, and they stay there until roughly like 5 a.m. At some point, the hotel staff is like, "We're going to call the police because you're making noise and you're waking up guests." And
so
eventually
funny.
it got broken up. Nobody fought. Nobody got hurt.
Fight or
No,
or
they
they
just
just like
stood-
It was exactly like against Eric. They just stood off. They just stared each other down for like
I
2
mean,
straight.
like I have to be fair. Like this is a great story, but it was not. I mean, Fabiano was embellishing a little bit. It was probably like 20 minutes or something. It was not like 5 hours outside. But I mean, it sounds really good to say 5 hours.
hours.
Do you know
chess
that? Do you know
players,
that
but-
video of the dogs barking at each other with the bridge or whatever it is in between them, and then the gate opens up, and then they shut up. And they don't even.
Yeah, they didn't want to fight. Nobody wanted anyone to fight.
And then the bridge closes again, and then they start barking at each other again.
But it was just like a macho thing, you know. They were
That's
like,
very funny.
Hilarious. And Simon's a strong guy.
yeah,
He's a big guy.
Simon's really
Hikaru
big.
had some guts
Zero
confronting
chance
him.
for Hikaru.
Simon's kind of a lot bigger than me too.
That's really funny. I mean, props to Hikaru for starting the chess boxing content. We didn't even know. He was the original one.
He was the first.
He would
OG
make a great
chess
matchup.
boxer.
I wish he would chess box.
And I think he mentioned that. He said that he's going to fight Magnus if the money is right.
Well, okay, so a few things. First of all, when it comes to Magnus, I think what they're referring to is when I must have said that like in 2014. As far as actually, yeah, just to back up a second though, as far as Simon goes, I mean, obviously we're on completely fine terms. I remember the year after that happened, like when we were both in Gibraltar, we were talking, and it was all like, it's all good, it's all chill, nothing ever like came of it, obviously. But actually, I'll let I don't know how long to run this clip because mods know how long to run it. So let me see how much more is said.
Wow.
But weight class is all off, right?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For 5 mil, he's like, I'm ready.
Weight doesn't matter.
For 5 mil,
For
I
5
think.
mil,
Damn.
They'll find a
I'm
way.
sure they could find it.
So there's a video on my channel. I mean, I said it during the London Chess Classic as well. Like, I don't know, like maybe 2013, 2014, around that time, I think I said some. But you're right. Probably in an actual video, I said it much more recently. Now, because they're talking about interesting things that happened, there are actually a couple of other instances that I want to bring up that do not actually well, I mean, did I say 5 million? I must have said it like maybe a year ago or thereabouts. Perhaps I did, but I don't know. We'll see. So actually, there are 2 other stories that I want to bring up because, like, again, they mentioned 2 stories that feature me, but there actually are stories that feature other grandmasters where it was the same kind of thing, leading to like the typical standoffs. There was and actually the first one, of course, like all the common themes, involves alcohol. Now this one I was not actually there for, but in 2016 during the World Championship match, there was this whole like VIP section, you know, in New York City, the match between Magnus and Sergey. And I heard the story that basically Lawrence Trent and Jan Nepomniachtchi were playing blitz. I think they were playing for money. I don't know how much money, but they were playing money. There were drinks and things. And at a certain point, I think Lawrence won a game against Jan, or he was in the process of winning a game. And Jan basically actually wanted to go outside and fight Lawrence because he was really pissed off about it. He was pissed off about something. Now, this story I wasn't actually there for, but I heard this from a couple of different people. So that was the first story that I wanted to bring up. Was that basically there was that one. There's also another story. This was from the Grand Chess Tournament. This one I was here for. There's no alcohol in this story. But there was a blitz game where Lawrence Trent once again was playing blitz against Levon Aronian. I think they were playing like 3-1 or maybe it was 4-1, something like that. And at a certain point when they're playing blitz, you know, everybody's watching, everybody's very chill, and there's a situation where basically I think Levon makes a move. Lawrence, how's it going? No, I think Levon makes a move. He knocks a rook off the board and he hits his clock. And then Lawrence makes a move. And Levon's like, no, I got to stop the clock, get the rook, and put the rook back on the board. And basically what happens is there's this big argument. I think Lawrence says something to Levon like, you know, if you did this in like London or something, you would get like knocked out or something. And Levon was arguing for quite a bit as well. And like, I think after maybe like 20 minutes or so, everybody kind of calmed down and just got back to playing. But basically there was a big argument, and I think Lawrence, I mean, if I remember correctly, I think Lawrence wanted to go outside and fight Levon. So basically it's not something that's like one-off, and it doesn't happen with anybody. Like, these are things like people think that it's something like that just doesn't happen, but So yeah, those are just the 2 that I know of right off. Of course, Levon, there's the other story that I don't need to refer to from the from the Olympiad in 2006 with Levon as well, but we don't need to talk about that one. But there are like, people think this is like some random one-off. It's not. I mean, these are not like, you know, everybody has their moments, and that's just kind of what happens. Yeah. So until I got back into chess during the lockdown chess boom, I never would have assumed the levels of violence in the game. Right, exactly. So we know how tilting chess is, so no surprise. I don't think there's a Magnus story. No, I don't know. But at any rate, the bottom line is that, like, almost all these stories involve alcohol and people losing their minds. So yeah, but it does happen. It does happen. So just for anybody who thinks that those random those stories featuring are the only ones, there are a lot of other good ones too that are involved. But Vichy, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know Vichy's story. But generally what happens is like people get angry over a game or whatever, and like everyone wants to go outside and fight, and then nobody really fights at the end of the day. That's the thing. So it's always the same thing. It's always the same thing. Like that's what happens. Levon was mad. Well, basically, I mean, because what happened in the Levon and Lawrence thing was basically Levon was like, you stop the clock and put the rook back on the board. And Lawrence was like, we're playing for money. It's a serious game. You never do that. If you make a move and you knock a piece off the board, your clock should keep running. You don't get to suddenly stop the clock to pick the piece up off the ground and put it back on the board. So it's yeah, it's just all really funny. But yeah, as far as the Simon thing goes, everyone's like trying to make it into some big thing, which it just isn't. And like I said, we spoke, we're completely fine, and it's not, you know, it's nothing. There's no story there, unfortunately, for everybody who wants to think there's some story. Gary, I don't know about Gary. What I do know, however, is that another streamer who's a little bit older than me, his father was a professional boxer. Gada Kamsky, his dad was a professional boxer, and I have heard stories of his dad basically like actually throwing punches with certain other grandmasters. So that's probably the only other bit that I can think of if I go way back or something like major. Like I heard that Gada's dad apparently like he was like mad or something. He punched a grandmaster who played in the US Championship a couple times, actually won a US Championship, I should say. So at any rate, yeah, it's the whole thing is completely wild. There are a lot of different things, Tate, I don't know about. I mean, I have no idea. No idea. But at any rate, you boys need roid testing. Yeah, well, there's one common theme, which is alcohol's involved. When players aren't like, you know, celebrating after a tournament, trying to let off steam, that's what happens. Did you see the clip where Yasser talked about when he almost punched Kasparov? I mean, like I said, like even Yasser, he's like as chill as they come, and he almost wanted to punch somebody. So as you see, chess is a very violent game, you guys. It's very, very violent. So these are the things that like nobody wants to think we're all super professional, super elegant. You know, nothing happens. This is how it goes. But at the end of the day, like chess is a very violent game. So be careful if you want to play chess professionally. So yeah, so that's the that's a little bit that I want to say. Chess is violent because the pros are a bunch of children. Okay, you guys. Okay, yeah, good one. Anyway, that was just a little bit that I wanted to cover on this topic before people try to like make things out to be like this huge big thing that it's not. So yeah, that's just a little bit that I wanted to cover. All right, so let's get back to some chess for a little bit. Let's see what happened in the chess. I'll change the scene back to the regular scene. Match is currently 6-2. Fabiano is just struggling here. Thank you so much to N3 SHTCG for the rate of 460. Appreciate it. Thank you for the rate. Thank you to Munchus for the 19 and Skineem for the prime as well. Appreciate it. Don't change the topic. Like I said, I mean, those are the only specific ones where they're like I'm very, very aware of it. But again, it's not something that hasn't that doesn't happen. Like people who think it's some kind of like big hoobaloo or whatever. But I will add though, however, speaking about myself, like one thing that I would note is that like those instances that happened, that was like during a period of my life, like I obviously don't talk about my personal life and things of this nature, but it was during a period that a lot of things were not really going right in my life. And I don't want to say like that's like behind it, but somewhere around that time I stopped being like kind of chill and happy when I had alcohol. And that's one of the reasons that I actually very rarely drink anymore, is because at some point I went from being like a happy alcoholic to being like an angry alcoholic. So that is the one other bit that I would add about it. Thank you so much, Don Alberto, for the 28 months. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's all in good fun. It's all chill. You know, it's what it is. But people don't need to make it out to be some like huge thing that it's not. So that's the that's just a little bit. That's a little bit to add. Am I a mellow alcoholic? I don't really drink anymore. When I was younger, I was very chill. Like, I mean, generally very, very chill. But yeah, some point like 17, 18 around the time just kind of changed a little bit. So yeah, it's what it is. Angry alcoholic, there are plenty of people who are like that. So yeah, it's what it is.